Hi, everyone, and welcome to AmplifyU, the podcast dedicated to connecting the dots between industry best practices and resources you can bring back to your agency today. I'm your host, Caitlin Agar, Head of Learning and Development for Indium, and one of the many content contributors working to bring the future of professional development to the insurance industry. At AmplifyU, we believe in the power of collaboration and the strength of collective intelligence. That's why we crowdsource our content, tapping into the experiences and insights of insurance agency owners like you, and why we created this platform to amplify the voices of thought leaders who are shaping the future of the insurance landscape. Join us as we unlock the strategies to help you build the team and lifestyle you want. This podcast is your gateway to discovering new opportunities and thinking independently together. Welcome to AmplifyU, where training will get you where trying can't. Let's dive in. Hi, Troy, and welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
Awesome. Glad to be here today.
Oh, thrilled to chat with you. So thanks so much for squeezing me in. I know that you have had an action-packed week, and you're usually jet setting somewhere. So how were the travels this time around?
You make it sound good with jet setting. I would say I'm on a plane. Now it was a great week. Got to see a lot of people, different carriers, different folks that I've known. A lot of people I got to know. So it was a great week.
So where have you been to most recently?
So in the last couple of weeks, I've been everywhere from Chicago to Bloomington, Dallas, and stopped off in Northern California, which I hadn't been up to. I'm not far from there, 4 hours, but it'd been a long time since I've been up there. And I was in Grand Rapids, Michigan this week also. And I get to go to a lot of great places.
So what is it in your genes that turned you into a traveler to that level, Troy?
So blessings and luck. I just, as we interviewed today, I just, a lot of things have happened to me great. I'm not going to say that everything has gone perfectly, but I live a very charmed life and probably don't deserve all of it, but I love it and just appreciate it every day.
I love it. So it sounds like you really enjoy what you get to do and that you've created an experience for yourself where you get to have those travel adventures and those complex conversations with people that are counting on you for your advice. And every once in a while, bumping into friends along the way. I know you have a reputation for having fun on your travels, and I think that there was a black bear that made it into your recent selfie too. So there's a story behind that one.
Yeah, that was in Grand Rapids. We'd had an awesome day. I'd seen some folks that I had not seen in 10 years. Large carrier, a lot of friends. Some of them I knew for 30 years. And then we met a lot of new people. And as we were walking out, they had this big bear. I mean, it was like a big grizzly, had to be 7 foot tall. And I told this friend of mine, hey, before we leave, man, get your camera out. And I went and I just bear hugged this big old bear. So yeah, like to have fun. Life's a journey. It's fun.
So I have a 7-year-old that loves animals, and we were recently driving through the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and decided to, Google some bear facts. And it's kind of, you get conflicting advice. Some people say if you encounter a bear, not to make any noise, don't startle them. And other articles say like scream and run for your life. So
it's funny. I Googled this thing when I saw that bear, and I thought, I wonder what they're going to say about it. Some say don't run. Some say run. Some say scream. Some say just hold still, man.
Pray.
Hey, I think that's the right answer.
So I know you have a wide variety of clients, Troy. So tell us, you work with agents, you work with carriers. What are your clients look like these days?
So most of my clients are carriers, right? Carrier executives in distribution and marketing and learning and performance, we call it, product design. It's just everything from commissions to agent economics is a big thing for me. Technology is a huge thing for me. I would have never dreamed that would have been a big part of my practice. But all of it leads to one thing, and that is the customer. And the one who touches the customer the most are advisors. So whether they're brokers, agents, team members, employees of the carrier, I get the great fortune of talking to people like yourself and agents and their team members. I get to do the best of both worlds, but it all starts up here because you got to have a strategy that you can execute. And I like working with everybody.
You like working with everybody and helping them put together a strategy that's going to be the right one for what they're trying to accomplish. So what kind of problems are you having fun untangling right now?
So look, I could be on this show and just talk about that. So I'll try to keep it, simple. Recruiting is huge. This has never been a more important time to recruit the right person, to onboard them, to make sure it's a great experience, to make sure that it continues on throughout the life cycle of their career. I've been in the business myself 40 years. And I've grown every year. The reason I've grown is because I've got a commitment. I'm a learner. I believe in the learning culture. And so culture is a big one we work with folks on. We work with them on technologies, sales enablement, service enablement, technology enablement, adoption. The reason we'll call it a job, my practice is so fun, it's not the same thing every day. But there are some fundamentals to your question, which are, I think, recruiting, the model in which we deliver our products and services has changed. And if folks don't change the model, they're going to be extinct. And so I could elaborate, but I'll stop there.
Oh, yeah. And when I most recently saw you, it was at Bradley Flowers and Scott Howell's One City World Tour in Austin. Make sure you check it out on LinkedIn and look at the highlights. But Troy, you were the keynote, and it was a fantastic way to kick off the event. But you definitely had some thoughts to share about recruiting that I'd like to, dive into a little bit deeper, because I think this is an idea that agency owners, like, they're probably tracking with you. They're probably bought into this idea that building a team of the right people and equipping them is the path to success, and that they need to be really, really strong in this area. And it is so easy to try and fall flat on your face and just hit obstacle after obstacle while you're trying to get there. So what do we need to do to get unstuck when it comes to recruiting? Why is it so hard?
Yeah, and it's building a team is the biggest subject that agents, brokers want to talk about, and carriers want to know this too. That the first thing is you have to have a culture and a mindset that says everywhere you go, everybody's a prospect to either buy insurance from you or to come work with you someday. It's daily, So a lot of agents, I tell them the worst time to try to find somebody is when you need them. The worst time to try to train them is when you need them. So they're in the industry as a whole. It's a reactionary deal. Oh, we need to put some people on, or we need to find somebody because we lost somebody. So the real winners in our game are people that have a philosophy that they're always recruiting. The Great Resignation, it's been going on. I've been in the business a long time. It's just now they put a name to it. People are always looking for a better opportunity. That's the key here. Not a better job, a better opportunity. And sometimes it ties into money, sometimes it ties into lifestyle. And we can get into all that stuff if you want to, but it really is just that mindset that you're always recruiting.
Do you think agents are a little gun shy to recruit talent that's new to insurance because they see so much potential there, but they're thinking, okay, I'm going to have to onboard this person. It's going to take a while to get them up and running.
Yeah, onboarding is a very important subject. I mean, we could have a conversation just about that. The way you orient them into the business, the way you get them to train and be a part of that learning culture I talked about. So let's just pause there. I will tell you that we want to find the right people. The only way we're going to find them is to have a strategy. Ideas are awesome, but without execution, they're delusion. So we start with a strategy. Who are we looking for? To your point, newer folks, it takes a long time to to train them. I like people with no experience. It's a clean slate. You just got to know, what is your training program? What is your onboarding program? What are all the things you have to do? And then you create a roadmap or a workflow to make sure that they experience all the things they need to get to be acclimated into the business and get off in a fast start. The first 30, 60, 90 days is going to tell the whole tale of their entire career.
So you mentioned it's a big topic. We could spend a whole podcast on that one. So give us the cliff notes. Like, what are the mistakes we shouldn't make when we're recruiting and onboarding? Like, what do we need to avoid?
Yeah, let me just get right to the point. Don't sell it as a job. It's not a job.
Not a job.
So if you're exclusive or tied, that's what I grew up in. I grew up in an exclusive or tied. I wasn't an independent when I first started. I was exclusive. And if you're selling that, it's an opportunity. You're working over here at the Save Mart grocery store and you're making great money, but you're home late at night and you're not seeing your kids. You can't go to their softball or football game or whatever, right? It's the opportunity to be in business and in some cases you're hiring people that are employees, right? So if it's a team member, that's one thing. If it's an agent, that's another thing. If it's in the company, it's an advisor in-house, but it's always an opportunity to be bigger than what you are right now. And bigger isn't always money. So I'm going to just pause there and just say that the opportunity is usually when you step back so you can move forward. The thing that has gone wrong in the insurance industry for the last 10 years, we were just selling it as a job. It's not a job. It's an opportunity, whether you're working for an agent or you're going to be an agent.
So how do we do a better job, like painting a picture of what that opportunity looks like? Because if you're an agent, that it can be easy to get discouraged and think, well, I can't pay what that call center down the road pays. Or, I want to hire from this industry, but I'm in an area where it's going to be difficult. And you're working with carriers that are thinking, they're not just trying to hire one person or 5 people or 20 people, but a lot of them. So how do we think about the opportunity in different ways now than maybe we have in the past? Maybe in the past it was an opportunity to make, great commission, and now people are looking for something more.
You're right. Let me start there and then we'll move back. They're looking for lifestyle. They're looking to make income, but not at the expense of their family or their values and all that. And they don't want a quick buck. They want a long-term opportunity for growth. And so I believe in creating a path for them. Let's call it a career path. If I'm an agent, and I owned an agency for 35 years, and how did we go from zero? Because I worked by myself the first 7 years, and I just couldn't grow anymore after 7 years. I started hiring people and replacing myself in areas that I just couldn't be, right? Or maybe I wasn't that good at. So I focused on the things I liked and I hired people to replace me in the areas I needed help in. And it helped me grow through my reach because they had expertise. We'll talk about specialization here in a minute. But I show them if they do these things. And so remember this: activities done well by exceptional people become success. And it really is, I think, the thing that a lot of agents do, whether they're brokers or whether they're exclusive, it doesn't matter who they are. They set the bar too low. You need to see a lot of people. It's a numbers game. That hasn't changed. Just because we have computers doesn't mean we don't need to talk to and see a lot of people. So if we give them the activities they need to do to see enough people under the right conditions, if we teach them and give them the tools they need to give a great presentation and have all their insurance and financial services under one roof, our roof, if we teach them how to do that, then they're going to sell more to more people, because you don't have 5 dentists, you have one. You don't have 3 CPAs, you have one. You don't have 8 doctors, you have one. Now, you're going to need other doctors, but you go to one to tell you where to go, where the expertise partners are, the specialists.
so many tools in the industry. People have been creating training and certifications and, learning tracks all over the industry for so long. But sometimes it feels like we're putting the wrong tool in the toolbox. So which ones are we missing?
Well, so that's you framed it great. It's we need all this content. We're living in an information and content world, but I'm going to consume what's relevant right now. Okay. So if I'm creating a learning and performance library, and I have one, you have one, it's how can I have that content available to consume right when we need it, or give it to them in advance so they can become proficient and an expert on it, so they can attract people because of their expertise. But look, in your lifetime, maybe 3 people want to buy nuclear bomb insurance. We don't waste a lot of time training them on that, right?
Right.
But the day they need something, even if we're never going to write it, if they need content, where am I going to get it? So what I would say is this: you need to train them on the basics, but it's overwhelming when you first start. Anybody listening to this remembers that day. They go, well, first you got your auto, you got your home, you got your life, you got your business insurance, commercial insurance, and I'll never learn all this stuff. How did you learn? Through doing. My manager right there took me out on every life appointment I had for the first year. Every life appointment I had, I became an expert at life insurance because he drove with me to their house. He sat in the office when they came into the office, and he was my partner. And then I started teaching the class on life insurance. So look, we learn by doing, but you've got to have knowledge. And I love this subject because the knowledge we have today is not going to be good enough a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. How do I know this? Because I had to get better in 1983 to get to 1984, and then to the 90s, and then to the 2000s, and even today. I read, I got stuff all around me. I got books and I've got video and all this, and adults learn differently. So I love the subject. I know you do too. So.
I do, and adults do learn differently. And so much of sales training has been grassroots for a really long time. And I'm curious your take on that. My observations are that there's so much value in having a mentor that can go on those sales calls with you. But how do we free up agency owners or, sales directors to be able to have the time to invest in the training pieces that need to be hands-on the most and make the biggest difference when they have so many initiatives swirling around?
So we're talking about agents, right? Because carriers look at the big macro picture. They have training teams. They have people in the field at the home office. But we're now talking about agents. Look, you don't want to put on 10 people this year. You don't have time, But if our goal is to net gain 2 people in addition to what we have right now on our team, that's 6 months apiece in immersed training. That means I'm going to be spending some time this year with this person that I'm not going to have to next year. I'm going to spend some time, but I'm going to be dedicated. Now, if I get so big, and my sister and I grew an agency from scratch to 25 people, I couldn't be with all of them on a regular basis. She couldn't be. So you continually look at this. If I'm a firm with 50 people or 100 people, I've got people on the team that do the joint work, that do help how to learn. It's just, so you've got dedicated people. But I think most of the listeners are, 2 and 3, maybe 5 people shops, and they want to get to 10 or they want to get to 50, or I know people that have 100 people working for them. How do you get to there? It's one step at a time. So going back to that strategy, right? You got to have a strategy, and then you got to have an execution plan, because, and I'll repeat it 100 times, ideas without execution, they're meaningless. It's delusion. It's idiocy. So you'd asked the question earlier. You got to inspect what you expect, and you got to be reflective and go, hey, maybe I did that wrong. Maybe if I onboarded them this way this time, and you just got to have some humility. and just say, I'm not perfect, but I'm going to keep trying to get better.
In the cohorts that you're leading where they're working on business plans together, advice do you have for an agency owner that's looking at their business plan and they're like, well, I see opportunity here and I see opportunity here and I see opportunity here, but I only have so much time, or I only have so many resources to invest in changing things up and, shaking up the snowball a little bit. So how do you help someone that sees a lot of areas where they want to change or develop, zero in their focus on where they can move the needle the most this year?
Yeah, so I'll say this. We have expertise in business planning and execution. And the reason is because you start where you're at. Okay. And I've got this taped in my wall at my house, and it says, begin from here and hope in God. Because every day I begin from where I'm at. Okay. And so when I had no employees and I had one, I was thinking about the second and the third one, but I got to focus on the one. I got to execute. I got to make, and I'm going to make a statement here for the people that know me. This is one of my key phrases. Everybody that works for you must be a profit center. If they're not a profit center, they're a cost center. And if they're a cost center, we can't afford them. So we can't add more if we haven't made this person a profit center. Maybe they can't be a profit center because they're not the right person. We gotta move on. We gotta get somebody else in that opportunity. So not everybody we hire works out. So the hiring process is important, but that point where agents want to go with their business plan and they go, I don't have enough time in the day. We've learned that if you block time properly, you can manage a lot more things than you're already doing. I work with way more carriers than agents work with clients. I'm talking carriers. I'm not talking a household or a business. If I can do that, and I'm not the brightest guy on earth, and I'm not perfect, but I block time, and you know this because we've been trying to get together, right? Every 15 minutes, I got something I'm doing. But things come up. If a client calls you, a customer, whatever you want to call them, client or customer, they call you up and they need something, everything else goes out the window. The customer comes first in everything we do.
Right.
So you move that forward. And we did this today. We said, okay, we want to do this today, but Troy's blocked at this time. Can I move this to here? And what did you say? He said, of course, let's do it. The people are nice, they'll work with you. You just got to communicate with them and let them know you care. And if they know you care, they're going to work with you. So just let me tie it all together. We can all do more than we're doing right now. We're all capable. So time management is one of the most important things you do, what you do with your time, because you're never going to get it back once it passes. So if you look at my calendar, I can't show it because there's clients on there and everything. You're on it. You were on it today. And it moved because there's just a whole bunch of things going on. But auto, I need to have that as focus. Home, I need to have that as focus if I'm an agent. Life, I need to have that. Recruiting, I need to have on claims. Agents are some of the busiest people on earth. And they get freaked out and they get faked out because there's so much going on, but they don't have a flight plan to get through the day. The plane doesn't always land on time. There's weather, it goes off course, and then it comes back down and lands. So just think of every day as a flight plan. File it every morning when you get up, and don't get freaked out if there's weather. It's going to happen.
So managing our time, we can fit more in the day if we're strategic about it, prioritizing clients. Are there any other areas? What else? Is there anything that's like maybe one or two more things that should be like sacred on the calendar that tend to move? Are there items that tend to move that like shouldn't, that should stay?
The customer, if one of the most important things as an agent, and I don't care how big you are or how small you are, the review of a customer's account is the most important thing. It's the cornerstone, and everything flows from there. We believe, and I talk about it in my latest book called Net Gain Growth. The cornerstone is the review, but you got to touch your customer 7 times a year, minimum to be top of mind, because if you don't touch them 7 times a year, they're getting a commercial from every carrier all day long. I mean, most commercials are insurance commercials. So the way to block out the competition is to do a review and then to personally touch them throughout the year 7 times. There are different formulas for that. If you do that, that's non-negotiable, the customer. And I will tell you this, if you want to get into it today or at a later time, most agencies, the good ones, aren't even seeing 30% of their people. We have data in our firm that shows it's less than 10% seeing their people under the right conditions. So they offer a review, that's a good thing. But actually following up and doing it the right way, less than 10%. That means 90% of the clients, the customers, are in play. That's not good. That's not good for retention. It's not good for the customer, by the way.
It's not. And it makes me curious, like, how so? How did this come to be? So what would you say to an agent that's like, I know that I'm supposed to like call clients at renewal or meet with clients, these commercial accounts every time they renew. I tried it. It doesn't seem to be making a difference. If they feel like they're trying it and it's not moving the needle, what do they need to do first?
Well, let's just act like it's me and you and nobody's listening. They're not. And so they're fooling themselves. If they go, well, I'm calling them and it's not making a difference, they're not. They're not doing it the right way. They're not following up. Look, I call you up. You're busy, by the way. Okay. You're busy. I'm not busy. You're busy. So I call you up and I say, hey, let's get together. I want to review your insurance. I use the right language. I use the right script. I say all the right things. And you say, hey, my mom's got a big event going on and I'm going with her to that event. You don't want to do a review. I said, that's okay. I know you're busy. I'm going to work around your schedule. How about I call you next week and we'll set something up at that time? You say, okay, that'll work. Okay. I got to follow up. I can't go, I checked the box and I offered you a review. I got to follow up. Maybe you just go, I don't want to review because I hate insurance. I don't want to buy any more insurance. I say, well, I didn't call today because I have any reason to believe you're in the market to buy insurance or to change insurance companies. Studies show people do business with people they know and trust. And you already know and trust us. That's why you have your insurance with us. I want to review what you have with us and other companies, because the worst time to try to figure out what type of insurance you have is at the time of a claim, a loss, right? If you pause long enough, most of them will interject the word. If they don't, then you just fill in the blank form. That's trying to get a review. Now, when you come in, here's another, you asked me how we got here. Less than 30%, 10%. Less than 30%. How did we get here? Fear. Because agents are great, but they don't know what to say, and they need to learn how to talk to somebody and explain to them, here's what you've got with me. Here's what most people in your position are doing with their insurance program today. I'd like to show you. Now, let me show you. You've got this policy over here. It's not with me, but here's what you need to be thinking. It's consultative, right? You're a consultant. And then they go, well, do you offer that kind of insurance? Yeah. Most people in your position want to have all their insurance and financial services under one roof. My roof. Why? Because I don't try to sell you everything. I just want to offer you a solution. If you want it, you make the decision that's best for you and your family. Now, I've got a philosophy that says you don't want to have 5 insurance people, just like you don't want to have 5 dentists. You want to have one dentist because they handle everything for you. And if you need something that I can't provide, I'm a dentist, I'll send you to a periodontist. I'll send you to an orthodontist. I'll send you to somewhere that I don't handle that, but they're partners with me. They're called expertise partners. But the model today is to be the gateway to all things insurance and financial services, offering service first, advice, and then offer product solutions. How did we get here? We got here because the industry, not every carrier, but the industry said, offer the product first and then wow them with your service. Well, there's too many things that can happen between the sell and proving yourself. Why not prove yourself up front that you're not greedy? You're not trying to sell them something. You want to offer them a review. And if they like the service and the advice, they'll give you a shot at looking at everything.
So service, advice, product creates a completely different kind of experience. And you've emphatically stated that this this task of like taking time to meet with your client at the renewal and go over their coverages is going to move a needle in the agency. So renewal reviews, what else? What is the business roadmap of the future look like? So more time with clients, building those relationships, meeting their needs. Are we missing anything?
So let's kind of flip it around, because right now in the industry today, it's here's your coverage, here's your price, do you want it? And then everything else flows from there. That's sales and commissions first, okay? It meets the short-term need of the agent. It meets the short-term need of the carrier or carriers that want to increase revenue. And it's not a bad thing. Everybody wins except the customer, the client. And so we put the client first, and it takes a little bit longer up front, but the retention is better. More products under one household, easier to service. All these things add up into bigger and more longevity with the client, because that's what they want. They have a desire for it, and they have every right to expect it. So it just, we go back to your original question, which was, how did we get here? Because we started putting the product solution at the front before we even knew who the client was. You got to know who the client is. What do they want? What do they need? And then we provide a solution for it.
Absolutely. How can an agency owner start evaluating the current buying experience in their office and identifying if they have that backwards right now?
I would submit to you, just about everybody does have it backwards right now.
Okay.
The ones that are transitioning to the new model, because the old model doesn't work. That's what Inflection Point is about. It's the old model doesn't work. So you've got to change your business model. Now, your processes to get there might be a little different. You might start with business development with digital technology. You might do it. We teach how to go meet people in person. I believe it's a combination of everything. You take all the new stuff, and you mentioned something earlier. I want to clarify before I forget about it. You said taking time with people. You can do a review in less than a half an hour with a client, half an hour, if you're prepared in advance. So a half an hour prep before they come in, half an hour to give the review, and then a half an hour post to make sure the follow-up and the workflows and everything's in place. Once you get that going, here's the byproduct of it. Less nuisance service calls, because service calls come in, but if you don't talk to your client, the first thing that goes wrong, they just want, who can I call to ruin their day? That starts to go away. You're on the offense. The best defense is a great offense. And then the best offense is having somebody already know and trust you and you go, hey, let me tell you, most people in your position are carrying this type of umbrella, or most people in your position want to have their business insurance with us, or most people in your position want these limits on auto, these deductibles. And once you've got that relationship going, you just deepen the relationship, which deepens the product solutions in every household.
Absolutely. And maybe you can help me with a conundrum that I'm having. And you mentioned on one of your other podcasts, Troy, that some clients are relational and some clients are more transactional, and that we need to be able to meet the needs of clients who want to, have things at their fingertips, handle the insurance on their terms. And that might look very transactional compared to maybe some other ways that we would prefer to do business. Can you give me a good rubric for being able to correctly diagnose if this client truly prefers to be transactional, or if our team maybe has like a limiting belief that's leading us to believe that a busy person truly prefers a transactional interaction?
I love the question. So let me start with, there are 4 segments of clients, of customers. Those 4 segments are these. Number one, discussion partners, people who want somebody to not tell them what to do, not try to sell them something. They just want somebody to confirm they're thinking the right way. Or if they're not, here's how other people in their situations are thinking. Doctors do what doctors do. Lawyers do what lawyers do. Ditch diggers do what ditch diggers do. By the way, I've known a lot of ditch diggers, and some of them have become millionaires digging ditches, okay? And I'm not talking about owning the company, working at a company, digging ditches. So birds of a feather flock together. Discussion partners aren't necessarily rich, although they could be. They're not necessarily highly educated, although they could be. They're just the kind of people that consume a lot of information. They just want to know, after thinking about all this, am I doing it right? Hence, discussion partner. Now, this is the fastest growing segment. It is not the biggest, but it will be. It is not the biggest, but it will be. The second group is relational customers, relationship customers. These clients that we deal with that are relationship, I went to high school with them. We played sports together. Our spouses knew each other. My brother knew them. My sister knew them. These are just people that we met at church or we met through different things we do in the community. And that's the biggest group today. That's where most of the big carriers got their business, was through the relationship, through their local advisors or agencies or brokers or firms. This is not going away. It is still going to be huge, but most of these folks that are really educated, and I'm not talking college, I'm just talking they like to educate themselves, they're learners. They want a discussion partner. So they're going to move, these folks are going to move up to discussion partners. The third group is a group of people that are kids of the parents that were relationship. And when I started in 1983, man, I would have them come in and they would get a job or they would move out of the household and they say, my daddy was with your company. His daddy was with your company. His daddy's 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 daddy was with your company. And they just always came. It was natural. But about 10, 15, as many as 20 years ago, they stopped coming. Why? Because of the internet. They go, look, man, just because you did it doesn't mean I got more choice now. I'm going to go check it out. The problem with that is there's so much on the internet that's sales oriented. It's hard to get the right information to make decisions. So hint, hint, we've studied this as a carrier consultant. They want somebody with gray hair or somebody that's educated to tell them what to think, to confirm. So this group 3 is the one we need to focus on. We need to get to them before they get a job. We need to get to them before they inherit money. We need to get to them before they take over the business, okay? And we need to get to them and start a relationship with them because we lost it. There's no hometown newspaper anymore. You know, you've got to use digital tools, and going back to what you talked about, this all has to be seamless. The technologies, do not discount them. They're very important. They speed and enable us, right? Speeding up things is important. And these folks, they want you to know, and they want you to direct them how to watch a YouTube video, how to watch or read something that they can read really quick. Attention spans are short. The fourth group, and I'll stop here, is the price shoppers. And we want some of them. And this is what you're talking about with the transactional piece. So I'll kind of get to the point now that I've framed this up. There's two groups in the price shoppers, people we want and people we don't want. We don't want the people that just want price and nothing else. They got to have it. It's the law. You know, they don't believe in what they're buying. People buy insurance for security and peace of mind, or they just buy it because somebody made them, and they're not our customer. But there are some people that have been programmed for the last 5-10 years to X company saves X percent. If you bundle, you'll get blah, blah, blah. If you do, and it's all price driven, but if you can show them the value in having service and advice, that's why they'll pay more at retail. They'll pay more for a car, and they'll pay more for things, but you just gotta, and I'm gonna give you a word and see if you agree with it because of the way you frame this. We need to triage. So they're coming into the hospital. You got to go over here. You can wait. Okay. So the one I want to deal with first is the person that wants security and peace of mind. The others, it doesn't mean there's not a place for them. There's companies, there's a strategy for that. But if your whole strategy is people that are just coming for the price, if you live by price, you will die by price. It's been going on forever.
It has. That I love that you broke down those 4 client types for us and showed us where the opportunity was, because this discussion partner group is a fast growing group. We need to be able to meet that need with trusted advice and, provide professional expertise. And then the kids are the parents that, their dad may have done insurance with a buddy that he went to high school with. Maybe they're not bought in and they're like, well, there's a world of the world is my oyster. I'm going to, find someone. We want to have the tech tools that are ready to like speed up that transaction, make it seamless, enable that conversation, but then have opportunities available for that client to still get the good advice and still be able to talk to us and not always hit like just the website and not a person behind it. So, so helpful. And when I put on, like, when I think about being in an agency owner's shoes, I think from an agency owner level, the challenge is that just spending some time calibrating the team's perception of who falls in which bucket so that we're correctly diagnosing. Because if we're going to step into triaging, the risk is misdiagnosing someone who maybe appears to be a price shopper. Yeah. But they may really want security and peace of mind and still be a valued client that we don't want to miss that opportunity with.
So you bring up a great point, and it makes the case for starting not with the sale, but to really assess where they're at, what they want, what they need, and don't start prescribing. The doctor doesn't start prescribing you pills the minute you walk in. They go, well, why is your knee hurting? Well, I keep bumping it every morning. Well, quit doing that. We don't need any pills. Quit bumping your knee. So you get the idea. It's really just don't sell them something until you've really got to know them. And then you're going to uncover a lot of people you thought were all about price. And they're going, no, I'll pay more to be with you. I'll pay twice as much to be with you if you give me what I want.
Absolutely. So like taking time to assess and get to know their needs and being careful not to bring in assumptions that just because this person said, I need help with a home quote because my renewal is coming up, doesn't mean that they're too busy to talk about other risks that they have in their life that they need to manage. But we have to uncover those things first. And by getting to know them, active listening, we can do that in a way where we're not being pushy, we're not being awkward, but we're being professionals that provide expert guidance. I don't want to go to a doctor where I have to tell them everything that I need. That makes me feel like really nervous. I want their expertise to ask the right questions and point me in the right direction and not misdiagnose.
That's right. Yeah, completely.
Thanks for the advice, Troy. So, wow, so much to unpack there. And one of the things that you talk about is just this reminder that disruption brings opportunity. And I think a lot of people do feel like so much has shaken up. They see, personal lines hardening and wondering what that means for their agencies. So can you just remind us and encourage us what opportunity is out there so that we don't miss it?
Yeah, so when you and I saw each other out in Dallas, that was a great event. There were a lot of great people there. You heard me talk about the tsunami of change going on and what was coming. And if you remember, I was talking about rate action, that we were going to experience severe rate action, that everybody should get ready. Well, here we are. Okay. Nobody's immune from it. I mean, everybody's taking rate action of some type. I didn't say raising their rates. I just said rate action could come in the form of underwriting, could come in the form of if they want or don't want business, or it could be a change in rate. And so because of inflation, because of supply chains, because of a lot of other factors I don't have time to get into, it's not going to slow down. This is going to continue. and worsen, if you will. But to your point, there's an opportunity every time there's disruption. I can go back in my own career as a practicing agent firm, and every time there was radical disruption, it was the biggest times I grew, because people want to know. They want somebody to hold their hand through the maze of madness, because they're afraid. They're afraid of what's going on in the economy, and how am I going to put food on the table, and is my wages going to be enough, and now my insurance is going up. But I pause and I say, it's okay. Let me tell you what most people are in your position are doing right now with their insurance program for the long haul. I want to do some personal risk management for you and your family. Now, risk management was always thought of in business insurance, but personal risk management is looking at everything. Maybe we don't sell them everything, but we look at everything, and they're going, I want to be with you because you're the person that's looking out for my long-term goals. And the first thing I want is I just want to feel secure and have peace of mind. That doesn't mean we're going to lower their rate. A lot of people think when a person comes in for a review, one of the goals is to lower their rate. Well, the reason the rate is going up, if you're looking at it from a carrier perspective, they have a rate need to be able to pay a claim in the future. So you just want to make sure their coverages are right at the best cost for that family or that business. But you also want the carrier to be able to pay the claim in the future. So it is collaborative, if you will.
Very collaborative. And it does give us an opportunity to take that time and pause, use it as an opportunity to educate the client, collaborate with them, help them find a way forward from something that might feel really frustrating to them. And it's an opportunity to be memorable and make a difference, instead of just be the agent that didn't call and just sent the paperwork via email. And that's the person that's easy to forget.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the amazing advice. You left us with so much. I love these, your ideas, Troy. I took lots of notes. So thanks for reminding us that ideas are nothing without execution. And every day, let's just begin from where we're at. So we may have had so many main takeaways from this call, but let's write down one thing that makes sense for where our agencies are today.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
My pleasure. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode where we give you a taste of what the AmplifyU program has in store for you. It's more than just a podcast. It's a comprehensive suite of resources designed to ignite your growth and success in the insurance industry. Get ready to explore our dynamic online learning management system, where you'll find a wealth of valuable courses and modules tailored specifically for insurance agency owners and their teams. We'll also highlight our calendar of virtual training workshops where featured guest experts share their expertise and provide actionable insights. And for those seeking an immersive learning experience, we'll discuss our exciting training boot camps designed to accelerate your progress and build community. The AmplifyU program is your one-stop destination for future-forward education and resources, and we can't wait to share it with you.